The constitutions of Cyprus and the United Kingdom represent two contrasting approaches to constitutional governance. Cyprus operates under a written, codified constitution, while the UK has an uncodified constitution composed of various sources. This fundamental difference shapes how each country structures its government, protects citizens' rights, and adapts to change. Key differences.
Codification. Cyprus Written Constitution. Cyprus has a single formal constitutional document adopted in 1960 when it gained independence from British rule. This document outlines the structure of government, the legal framework, and the rights of citizens. Rigidity. The Cypriot constitution is relatively rigid, with specific procedures required for amendments, making it less susceptible to frequent changes.
United Kingdom uncodified constitution. The UK lacks a single written constitutional document. Instead, its constitution comprises statutes, common law, conventions, and authoritative texts. Flexibility. The uncodified nature allows for easier modifications through ordinary legislative processes, making the constitution adaptable to new circumstances.
Structure of government. Cyprus presidential system. Cyprus operates under a presidential republic system where the president is both the head of state and the head of government. Bi-communal governance. The constitution was designed to represent both Greek Cypriot and Turkish Cypriot communities, including power-sharing mechanisms and proportional representation in government institutions.
United Kingdom constitutional monarchy. The UK is a constitutional monarchy with the monarch as the ceremonial head of state and a prime minister who is the head of government. Parliamentary system. The government is drawn from and accountable to Parliament, reflecting a fusion of powers between the executive and legislative branches. Devolution. While the UK is a unitary state, it has devolved certain powers to Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, allowing for regional governance within the framework of the UK.
The Cypriot constitution establishes a clear separation among the executive, legislative, and judicial branches. Courts have the authority to review legislation and declare laws unconstitutional if they conflict with the Constitution.
In the United Kingdom, there is a significant overlap between the executive and legislative branches, as government ministers are typically members of Parliament. Parliament is the supreme legal authority, and traditionally, no court can overrule its legislation.
The Cypriot constitution includes extensive provisions for fundamental rights and freedoms, directly enforceable by the courts. Specific protections and rights are provided for the Greek Cypriot and Turkish Cypriot communities, aiming to balance communal interests.
In the United Kingdom, rights are protected through legislation such as the Human Rights Act 1998, which incorporates the European Convention on Human Rights into UK law. Rights and liberties also derive from common law principles and constitutional conventions.
6. Legal framework and judiciary. Cyprus. Initially, Cyprus had a supreme constitutional court to resolve constitutional issues, but after 1964, its functions were merged with the Supreme Court. Cyprus maintains an independent judiciary that can interpret and enforce the Constitution. United Kingdom. In the UK, the Supreme Court was established in 2009 and is the highest appellate court. However, it cannot overturn primary legislation due to parliamentary sovereignty. Courts can interpret laws and review the actions of public bodies but cannot declare primary legislation unconstitutional.
7. Historical and cultural context. Cyprus. Cyprus's post-colonial constitution was created as part of the independence agreement from British colonial rule, with provisions to manage ethnic divisions between Greek and Turkish Cypriots. Historical tensions have affected the functioning of the constitution, leading to the partial suspension of some of its provisions. United Kingdom. The UK's constitution developed over centuries through gradual changes rather than a single founding moment. It emphasizes historical continuity, with conventions and traditions playing a significant role in governance.
Let's look at the implications of these differences. Governance. Cyprus's written constitution provides clear guidelines and legal certainty. However, its rigid structure can make responding to new challenges more difficult. On the other hand, the UK's uncodified constitution offers flexibility and adaptability, but potentially less clarity and certainty due to reliance on multiple sources and conventions. Rights protection. In Cyprus, constitutional rights are explicitly stated and judicially enforceable, offering stronger safeguards against unconstitutional legislation. In contrast, in the United Kingdom, rights can be modified or repealed by Parliament, relying more on political processes and public opinion to protect rights. Legal authority. In Cyprus, the Constitution is the supreme law, and all legislation must conform to it. Courts can invalidate laws that conflict with the Constitution. In the United Kingdom, Parliament is sovereign, and no law passed by Parliament can be invalidated by the courts, with legal authority centralized in the legislative body. The constitutions of Cyprus and the United Kingdom reflect their unique histories, cultures, and political needs. Cyprus's codified constitution aims to provide stability, clear governance structures, and protect the rights of its diverse communities. In contrast, the UK's uncodified constitution offers flexibility and has evolved organically over time, emphasizing parliamentary sovereignty and adaptability. Understanding these differences highlights how constitutional design influences the functioning of governments, the protection of citizens' rights, and the ability of a nation to respond to changing circumstances. Both systems have their advantages and challenges, and each reflects the values and priorities of their respective societies.